It's radio host Lady P. We've got Cousin Howard, even though we woke him up out his sleep. And this is the new
Really?
relationship show. We are starting off with the best part of the show, I think, which is the world famous Battle of the Sexes. If you notice on the live stream, we've got Ben and we've got Fernanda, and they are our Team Blue and Team Pink contestant on the show. So, for
I
those of
know
you,
Team Pink is gonna lose.
and as you can tell, Cousin Howard was late. He said I woke him up, and he comes into the show still talking a whole bunch of mess. So, you know we're going to have to spank that behind. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get going because we started a couple minutes behind and we have a lot to cover tonight. So, let's go. So now, the first part of the show is the Battle of the Sexes. So those of you who have never watched the show before, let me quickly explain to you how it works. We've got a Team Pink participant. We've got a Team Blue participant. Each one will have 3 questions.
It ain't personal, man.
We're going to win anyway. So anyway, each one will have 3 questions. They have a lifeline, which means that one of the questions they're going to get regardless. So the team that wins is going to get bragging rights. Now, I'm pretty sure our last season, Team Pink dominated, so we're going to let the fellas go first today. So, Ben, I hope your little boy is ready because Cousin Howard looked like he having some issues. I'm just saying.
Ain't
Hey,
got no
Naomi.
issues.
Hey,
You
Naomi, how
mean
you
you
doing?
mean you dominated cheating last year?
Oh, my Jesus. So, we also have on the show right now Naomi. She is joining us for our last segment where we're going to talk about dating tips in 2020. But since she's here, she's going to be able to comment on our hot topics and our advice letter as well. But first, we're going to do the Battle of the Sexes. So, Cousin Ben, are you ready? You don't look ready. You
Yeah,
look
yeah, I'm
You
ready.
sure? Okay. All right, so
Come on, Ben. Don't let me down.
because he was talking all kinds of junk, so you know. Okay, so Ben, your first question is this: what was the name of Barbie's sister? Now, if you don't know which Barbie I'm talking about, I'm referring to the Barbie doll. She did have a sister. Here are your options: A, Christy; B, Samantha; C, Skipper; D, Sally. Would you like your 10 seconds? Or would you like to use the lifeline? Remember, you need to use those wisely. It's up to you. What you want?
Repeat the question again.
The question is, what was the name of Barbie's sister? And we're talking about Barbie doll. She had a sister. Do you need your options again?
Yes, give me the options.
Okay, so A is Christy, B is Samantha, C, Skipper, D, Sally. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Yeah, might as well.
oh,
I don't play because
oh.
I don't play with dolls, and I don't have a daughter.
Well, like I said, this is the Battle of the Sexes. Here are your 10 seconds.
Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And your answer?
I guess a skipper.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have no choice. Yeah, skipper.
Did you hear? So that was correct. Good
Oh,
guess,
okay.
sir. And
Cool.
I'm not gonna question your masculinity, but I'm just saying it's very rare that a man knows the name of Barbie's sister. But you know, hey, I'm all I'm saying is
Well,
that's
I'm
just
good at
rare.
Don't hate.
guessing.
Don't hate.
Congratulations on getting that question correct. Your second
Okay,
question,
thank you.
your second question, Ben, is this: what was Barbie doll's last name? Did you know she had a last name? Here are your options: A. Jones, B. Reynolds, C. Smith, or D. Dahl? Would you like your 10 seconds?
Repeat those again.
Your options? Your options are A.
Yeah.
Okay, A is Jones, B is Reynolds, C is Smith, and D is Dahl. You want your 10 seconds?
Yeah.
You can always do eeny, meeny, miny. Oops, sorry. Wait, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But here's your 10
10,
seconds.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What you got?
I'm going to say A.
A. Jones?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
No.
You know what?
I'm going to use my I'm going to use my lifeline on this one.
You gonna use your lifeline? Okay, Cousin Howard. Are you a good lifeline for him? What's the answer?
You never sent me the
I
question.
sent you
so don't-
everything. No. I sent you it all. Now, you are his lifeline. Ben, you sure you want to use a lifeline? Look like Cousin not prepared today. You want to use your lifeline? or
Because
not?
you woke me up, woman.
Ben,
And for me to get to my email that you sent, I gotta open it on my phone.
Ben,
So
would
tell
you-
the man the answer. You got
No,
it
no,
in
no,
front
no,
of
no. You are his lifeline. Ben, do you really want to use your lifeline? Because Cousin seemed like he's unprepared. Now, we've been talking about this show for at least a month, so I'm not sure why your teammate is unprepared. So, do you really want to use your lifeline? It's up to you.
Yeah. I'm going to have to use the
Okay,
lifeline.
so Cousin, he's waiting for the answer. And you know
Hold on,
he's
let
going to
me-
be wrong. You are not
I
prepared. You see, you
gotta
cheat.
pull up my laptop.
Ben, you know that's going to take like 20 minutes, right?
20 minutes, yo.
So, do you really want to wait on Cousin? Because then that holds the game up. If I
Tell the man the answer.
No, because you are his lifeline.
Yeah, but you got the answer too, so it would be
Yeah,
a
but
lifeline for both of
I'm
us.
not the lifeline. Your teammate that was talking all that junk about team.
Tell the man the answer, and the time you take to argue.
I'm
BS.
trying to play the game fairly. It's all about being fair, Cousin Howard. So, well, while we're waiting for him to figure that out, you want to go to your third question? Because now you want him for the lifeline on the second one, right?
Right.
Okay, so your third question is this. It's a true or false. And the question is calogynophobia. That's the word, calogynophobia, is the fear of beautiful women. Is that true or false? You got a 50% chance on that.
It's the fear of beautiful women. I'm going to say it's true.
You sure? Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Okay. Jesus. So that's correct. Cousin, do you have his answer for the second question? Just pick
No,
something.
because I did boot up.
Now
Let
you
me
see
something
this?
on.
Now he's rebooting his computer. What's going on? He is somebody I would say woefully unprepared right now. I'm just saying.
I don't care what you want to say. You woke me up, and
Oh my! See, that's why you single, because if
You
you
know-
evil like this when somebody wake you up, I'm just saying. And I just woke you up for a show. Ladies, if y'all was thinking about Cousin Howard, I'm just saying, he don't do well when he wake up. I'm just saying. Cousin, come on now.
I'm trying to get my laptop. What do you mind? All you got to do is tell the man the answer so we can win tonight. and quit playing.
You ain't gonna win, but okay. Ben, the answer is Reynolds. So let me give you So
Thumbs
now,
up.
so am I expected to ask the questions of Team Pink because you don't have that stuff in front of you either? Are you serious? How woefully unprepared. I'm just saying. I love you, cousin, though. You my favorite cousin. All right. So Team Pink, Nan, are you ready? Oh, I don't see her. Did we lose her? She was here and I
Yeah, we did.
Oh, don't be
Ran off.
Jesus, take the wheel, take the wheel, take the wheel. Okay. So, I don't see her. Oh, here we go. Fernanda, we are ready for your questions. I'm going to ask because cousin is having issues, technical issues with his laptop, and he's not able to get to the questions. So the first question for Team Pink is this. What is the real first name of the American golfer Tiger Woods? Your options are this. A, Eric. B, Roderick. C, Eldrick. Or D, none of the above. Would you like your 10 seconds? Uh-oh, we just had, she just bounced out again.
Ran away because she didn't know the answer.
Cousin, since you're not able to get your laptop up, I don't really believe. Okay, can you hear me? Did you hear your options?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me at all? Oh, Jesus. Maybe you should call in if you're not able to hear me.
Repeat the question.
Okay, the question says, what is the real first name of the American golfer Tiger Woods? Your options are A, Eric. B,
Okay, I can hear you now.
okay, so your options A, Eric, B, Roderick, C, Eldrick, or D, none of the above. You want your 10 seconds?
I didn't hear the question.
Okay. The question is, what is the real first name of American golfer Tiger Woods? You heard me? Yes?
Okay.
Okay. And then you want to hear your options again?
Yes.
Okay. A is Eric. B is Roderick. C is Eldrick. And D is none of the above. Would you like your 10 seconds?
You said Eric.
Eric is A, B is Roderick, C is Eldrick, and D is none of the above.
He used to do that for y'all. You still got cheated. When you told to do that for her?
Eldrick.
Eldrick. Okay. So, wait.
Yay!
That was correct. Okay.
I can Google that.
Oh,
We end up time.
look, how's somebody going to Google it when they don't have a computer in front of them? You have a computer and you can't even get to your questions. I'm just saying. Anyway.
I'm
Did
sure
you hear me say anything? Did you hear me say anything?
Is there a reason that you're yelling and hollering? Okay.
I'm not yelling and hollering.
I'm about to mute you because we can't even hear the rest of the show. Anyway, the second question for Team Pink is this. What are the wheels on a skateboard called? Okay, what are the wheels on a skateboard called? A, trucks. B, wheels. C, rollers. Or D, none of the above. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Lifeline.
Lifeline? Okay, well, I am your lifeline and I'm prepared. So the answer is A, trucks. Uh-oh. Who we getting feedback from? Is that you, cousin?
No.
Okay, so that was correct. Our last question is this. Oh my gosh, cousin. Is that you?
What?
I'm
Oh.
hearing a lot of I'm hearing feedback. I'll mute you and see if it was you. So the last question is this. How many volts does a car battery have? Okay? How many volts does a car battery have? Your options are this. A, 24, B, 12, C, 15, or D, none of the above. It might be you, Naomi. Would you like your, I think it is you, Naomi. Can you mute your, we're getting some feedback from you. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Car battery.
How many volts does a car battery have? Your options are A, 24, B, 12, C, 15, or D, none of the above.
Let's go 12-volt battery.
You go
Easy.
12?
That's easy. They gave her easy one.
Is that what you're doing?
Boy, everybody knows that. Those are some easy questions.
Yay!
So what that means is Team Pink has also gotten all the questions correct. And I honestly have an issue saying that it's truly a tie when Cousin Howard was so unprepared that he couldn't be the lifeline for his team. I'm just saying. So I don't have any tiebreakers.
Really? You weren't prepared for this?
So just call it a tie
We call it a
until
tie
next week.
until next week. And yeah, because like I said, I really don't think it should be a tie. I think it should go for Team Pink because of the fact that Cousin was unprepared. But you know, I'm just gonna call it a tie, and we're gonna move on. So, Ben, I thank you so much. This week is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you and to your wife. And we're going to see you next week.
And to you too.
Thank you. So we're going to see you next week when we match up. I think we lost Nan, but we're calling it a tie and a draw, and we're going to move on to our hot topic. So have a great evening, Ben, all right?
Okay, you too.
Okay, thanks.
All righty.
All right.
Ready. I don't believe.
Cousin, I don't think you have anything to say at this point. I'm just saying you don't. So anyway, Naomi, I'm glad you're with us. We have hot topics, and we have an advice letter that we're going to do prior to getting into our panel discussion. So we'd love to have you chime in on the topic. So our first topic is this. How important...
How you doing, Naomi?
Oh, I can't get to it. Really, cousin? After he came all late and unprepared, now he want to be smiling and waving. So I guess he done woke up. I'm just saying. Yes, cousin, I'm going there. So, our first...
Lord, forgive us.
Our first topic is this. So we called it a draw because...
Okay.
I don't have a deal breaker. I guess I could say I was like Cousin and unprepared, although technically they shouldn't have gotten that point because he wasn't the tie. But you know, it's all good. We're gonna call it a tie. We'll come back next week and see what happens. So thank you for joining us. All right, and
Okay.
keep listening because we're going into the hot topic. So keep listening, chime in, and whatnot through the Facebook Live. So, again, our first topic is this. How important are finances in a relationship? Cousin, would you like to take that first?
Sure. I think in a relationship, and it depends on the relationship. If you live on one side of the globe and I live on the other, then you're on your own with your finances. But if we live in the same house, then we got to... Like I always say, you got your account, I got my account, and then we got the house account. And a lot of people, male and female, tend to forget that you got three different accounts. In the sense of like, they think that they should go out and buy a new pair of shoes, a new dress, a new this, a new that, and don't use their money, but use the house money, which is not right. You know, and I've run into a gang of people that complain about that, male and female. You know, and sometimes all I could do is laugh because of the way they told me it happened. You know, but I think finances are important because you got to remember, you cannot spend the house money on your personal items. You got to use your own money for your personal items and leave the house money for the house. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Uh-oh, sorry. I did something and okay, let me just turn my volume down. Okay. Naomi, do you have any thoughts on that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's such a broad topic, so I'm going to narrow it a little bit because finances, when you're talking about a committed relationship, finances are extremely important. And as your relationship starts getting serious, I think it gets more important on finances, not just what you have, but how you spend and obligations that you have that you may not know your partner has that you may not know about when you're dating. But as you get more and more serious, it's important to disclose those finances. A lot of statistics say the number one, or if you look at the top five, it's in there, it's finances. Not just the money that you have, but how you spend, how you save. For instance, when we first got together, you took me out. It was nothing to take me out to a fancy restaurant, and that's what I like doing is going to fancy restaurants. But that was only to, date. And once it got serious, then it goes by the wayside. So that's a simple one. But there's also the obligations. I have all of these expenses. I have these loans and everything to pay, and it was never discussed. And we get serious and we move in together, and before you know it, part of your paycheck is going there, or I didn't know you had to pay child support. So finances is extremely important. Understanding the obligations, understanding what you're trying to build together. Am I a saver? Is he a spender? Is he a spender? Am I a saver? Or where are we trying to go to in the relationship? So it's important to understand that finances have a place in the relationship.
Right. And my thoughts on it is that in a committed relationship is very important. And when you're looking at, hey, Jamie, how you doing? Great to see you. When you're looking
Hey, it's okay. I thought I had a gun solid with that.
Oh, we didn't hear you. Not sure.
I said I got my hours back up.
Got you. Okay. So we're talking about our hot topics. We're talking about the importance of finance in a relationship. And what I was saying is that in a committed relationship, finances, it's very important because it tells you a lot, even like in the beginning parts, getting to know someone, because if this is someone you're trying to build something with, you need to know if you have an 800 credit score and theirs is 322. I'm just saying, because because it will make a difference in as you progress further. You want to get a house, you want to get certain things, and someone has like all these dings on their credit history, or if someone is someone that spends a lot, you honestly have to be financially compatible. Compatibility has to be not just spiritually, emotionally, physically, but financially. I mean, honestly, because if not, you're in for a heap of problems. And
Well, I mean, I think you need to be financially aware, but I don't know that you have to necessarily be, because if I love you and your credit is jacked up, I'm not gonna leave you like, you know what, get that fixed, kid,
well,
and
no.
then we'll talk. No.
Well, but sometimes if your credit is jacked up, that shows responsibility or lack thereof, and that could go into different parts of the relationship. I think it's very important to have someone who's on the same page as you are financially, as far as savings, coming up with a plan. Because if you are not, that, I mean, I don't care. What's love got to do with it? I'm just saying. And I'm just that. I mean,
it's so crazy you're single.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's so crazy I'm
I
single.
don't understand.
Oh, so you're saying that's why I'm single, because I feel that.
First thing, like, what's your credit score? How much you got in the bank? Do you have a statement with
No,
you? Can
no,
you have
no.
savings? You don't have savings. How you doing with savings? You know what? We'll skip dessert. This is over. I'm sorry. It's not going to work.
Whatever. All I'm saying is.
Oh my
that-
God!
All I'm saying is. All I'm saying, and I'm going to stick by what I'm saying, is I feel like that's important. And if you don't have the same mindset when it comes to finances, it's a recipe for disaster. It is. Because what's going to happen is right now, because you're in love and it's beautiful and wonderful, you don't care. And then 15 years down the line, when stuff all jacked up and you can't move to the next level because of how this person is financially, then you're like, see, that's why I shouldn't even have got with you. And that's what y'all that be
that's
talking
a women
about
thing.
love and I love you. All of that will change in about 15, 20 years. So I'm just saying, to cut all that before we even get started, let's make sure we on the same
So
page.
you think
I'm
you don't
just
love
saying.
them no more in 15 years? You just like, man, I don't love you, but you got good credit, so we can stay together.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
But also,
That's
here's
all
what I'm
women
saying.
think.
Here's what I'm saying. In a relationship, everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And let's say that my weakness is finances, but my strength might be, work, like my work ethic or something else. It might be the case where, I mean, people make fun, because back in the day, it was like, the husband comes home and hands the wife his checkbook because she's the one who ran the house finances because she was the best one for the job. So that doesn't mean that he's irresponsible, or maybe it does. But in a relationship, if I know you're real good with finances, then regardless of if I suck or if I'm just okay, we're still going to go with your decisions financially because you're the expert in that case. And what that means is you might be with someone who might not be as financially cognizant as you, but that don't mean you cut them at the door. I mean, unless that's just your thing, you're like, look, if you ain't got 6 figures in the bank, we ain't gonna make it. I got 2 kids and a mortgage. I can't help you. So
I echo Jamie because it is the awareness and what you're willing to accept. And in your case, Lady Pete, you're not willing to accept it, and that's okay, but that's the awareness. Exactly. And there are people who are like that, but there are also people who I've definitely talked to where the other person, their credit score was terrible. But in some cases, there were extenuating circumstances, like going through a divorce or being laid off and for an extended period of time, or sickness came about and they had to use reserves and measures. But the key is that you are aware of the financial position and that it's something that you both are willing to deal with when it comes to finances. It's being caught blindsided that hurts a lot. It's the not knowing and being caught blindsided that causes the most damage.
Lady P has
let me clarify. let me clarify because my statement.
Let's hear this.
My statement on the credit score was a joke, but honestly, it's
really?
not about the credit score. It's about how. No. I mean, I'm saying because that's neither here nor there, but it's about your financial responsibility. If you have someone that's not financially responsible, that doesn't care about paying their bills, doesn't care if stuff gets late and stuff, that's going to cause an issue. So that's what I'm talking about, and you're not on the same page financially. And credit score or not, I'm just saying that's where That's where I am on that. Oh, here I go. I can't hear my voice. Can y'all hear me? Everyone can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that. So we're gonna move on because y'all trying to tell me whatever. I stick by what I say because I know just from past things that I've gone through that it has made a big difference in financial responsibility. Being able to say, okay, I say this is what I'm gonna cover, and then you're not financially responsible, so you go shopping. And oh yeah, I know I was supposed to, this is my portion, but I had to go buy this. Well, that's an issue. So that's where I stand on it. So let's move on. This one is for you, Cousin Howard, this topic. Are you ready? The topic is, why do men, and I'm going to let you answer it first, too. The topic is, why do men think that sex solves everything? Cousin Howard, would you like to go first on this?
Wait.
That's the topic.
Hold on.
That's the topic.
Hold on. Men don't think sex solves everything.
Oh, so it's just you that think
They
that.
say do.
I'm just asking because I've heard many times where you said, you're not mad at the sex, you just mad at me. So now, maybe I misunderstood where you stood on that. But I think all of us have heard you say that multiple times. That's your style.
I'm not saying, hold on.
Clear it up. Yes.
Oh my God, I miss you guys.
What you got, cousin? What? I'm listening. What? Yes?
Sex doesn't solve everything.
Thank you, Jesus.
But after a good run of sex, you can think more clearly because you clear your mind. Jamian.
Wait, he said what?
He said it makes you think clearly and it can help you clear your mind. That's what cousin said. Now, you're a man. Is that true?
I would say yes.
Oh, so
You ain't gonna find too many guys pissed off after sex. Like right after you ain't gonna find too many guys just like, they be like, ooh. So then I can agree with that.
So then you're saying that it does solve everything? Is that what you're saying? Because
no.
We never said that
that's what
solves
the topic
everything.
says.
That's not what
I'm
it
just
says.
asking. That's what the topic says.
We never said it
No,
solves everything,
Yeah.
but you can think more clearly.
Think about what more clearly.
Whatever the discussion is.
Or whatever the issue is, you can think more clearly. Really.
Yeah.
Naomi,
Yeah.
please.
I'm gonna try that.
Naomi.
I'm about to try that.
No, I'm not really buying that one. Now I agree that it will relieve tensions, which may make you think you're thinking clearer. I know it's a release of tension.
Right? Okay. I could go
In
with
the
that.
process, certain things just may not matter at the time.
But they're going to come back, whatever the issue
But they'll come back.
is. Get you a little nap afterwards. You wake up and you still mad. Like, wait.
They'll come back.
So, but the topic is what would go into the thinking that solves anything? Because yes, okay, it may relieve tension, but what really does it solve? That I'm curious.
When I hear that, I don't think that it really solves. I think it stalls and is used as a tactic to solve. So if an argument or something is going on, to calm things down, you may enter into sex because it also allows, like I said, allows you to release tension. And so in that fact, people may think it's solved because you've diverted away from it. That's the only thing that I can see.
I never
I want to
said
know
it
who these
solves
guys are
anything.
that said sex solves
Yeah,
everything.
solving. No.
I never say it solves anything. It
Oh.
lets you, like I said, it lets you think more clearly. Like, okay, let's say we having a argument, discussion, whatever you want to call it, right?
Uh-huh.
About
Mm-hmm.
finances in the house, or why didn't the mortgage get paid, or why didn't the FPL bill got paid, or some of the sort. See? But you get some, you like, all right, okay, she said she didn't pay it because of XYZ. Okay, I understand that. Let's see how we could work it out. But if you tense, I'm tense, we're going to get into an argument. True or false?
Okay.
Anybody?
Wait. So
I'm lost.
Yeah,
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
So I don't know what you were saying. So can you kind of?
Really?
I don't think any of us knew what you were saying. It wasn't just me.
I got a little lost on that one too.
Yeah. A little foggy over here.
So can you clarify what you were saying? Because
I'm saying, like, let's say y'all said sex don't solve everything. It doesn't. But it lets you clear your mind and look at the situation from a different point of view. That you are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you get more, okay. Really,
ain't nobody
Jamie?
gonna co-sign with you on that one. I'm sorry. You got no co-signers.
I didn't know what word you were looking for. I'm just saying I didn't know what word you were looking for.
Okay, so basically,
Like I'm waiting to hear this explanation myself.
So
You what?
What you say, Jamie?
No, I agree. I think it definitely. I think sex can definitely be a stress reliever, but I think also more than that. I think if you find yourselves kind of like heading in opposite directions, like a real intimate, sensual, just kind of getting down and dirty sexual episode can kind of bring y'all back to each other, and you know it can help to remind you of why you're with this person in the first place.
True.
But if you just going for a wham, thank you, man, then no, it ain't gonna do much of nothing. But I'm saying like actual intimate lovemaking can bring two people back together because it's very hard to hide. You know, when you're that
feelings.
just naked and feelings about it. So it can help to start sparking, you know, some conversation maybe, or you know, something to get y'all headed back towards each other, and kind of because I believe we all put out energies, right? Like God gave each of us our own specific energy, our own rhythm, our own. We all have a certain frequency that our cells and our molecules vibrate at, and you know, realigning yourself with the person that you're wanting to be with. You can do that through, you know, physical intimacy. You can also do it spiritually and emotionally, but physical intimacy is one way to do it.
Okay. All right. So our last topic is this: Who gives?
Why is Naomi looking like she want to say something, but she ain't say nothing?
Who, Naomi?
I know. Yeah.
No.
You don't.
No.
Naomi says she don't have anything to add to what was said.
To add,
Right.
if I can't add value, I don't want to say it.
Okay, so so we're gonna move on.
Hey, Naomi, say what's on your mind.
No, I want to go to the next question.
We're moving to our next topic.
Yeah.
So the next topic is this. Who gives better relationship advice? Single friends or married / in a relationship friends?
Neither.
That's irrelevant, yeah.
You think? Because a lot of times I hear, oh, if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't take advice from anyone single because they're not in a relationship, or if you're married, don't take advice from your single girlfriends because, you know, it's going to be skewed according to whatever. So the topic is, would you say that it's any group that gives better advice, whether it's single friends or people that are in a relationship? So, for example, Go ahead, cousin.
People that are sincere in the advice they're giving you. Because if you got single people, you got married people that just give bad advice. And you got single and married folks that give good advice. So you can't say single people give bad advice, that's why they're single. Because married people give bad advice too.
But that
so
wasn't
they give bad
that wasn't
advice.
what I was saying.
But you asked which one you should take
That's
advice
the
from.
topic, okay? But what I was saying is that a lot of times, let's say you're beefing with your person that you're in a relationship with, and in the course of your discussion, you mentioned, well, so-and-so said blah, blah, blah. You don't need to listen to her because she's single and she bitter. So you can't take no advice from her because she's not in a relationship. So that's where I was coming from with my thought. But honestly, truly, I wouldn't take relationship advice from either. And as I wouldn't give relationship advice to anyone, because bottom line is whatever they choose to do, they have to live with it, not me. So it's not my place to really say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. So as a relationship coach, I don't give relationship advice. I give strategies for couples to do to help their relationship, but I don't tell them you should do A or you should do B. That's not my place.
Yeah, exactly. You never tell nobody what they should or should not do. You could tell them, and my advice is ABC. Now take what I just said along with what you know and come up with your own. They're going to go talk to somebody else and take that from that person with what I said and what you know and make your own solid decision on what you're going to do with your spouse. If you really and truly tired of that person, no matter what nobody say to you, you're going to get rid of that person. But if you really and truly love that person and want it to work out, you're going to sit down and you're going to think, okay, I did this and he did this and blah, 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 and you come to your own decision. But there's no such thing as good or bad advice, at least in my world.
Okay. Naomi or Jamie, anyone have a thought on the topic?
I think if you're looking to someone else for advice, you done already messed up.
That's true.
I mean, I think talking about a situation, you can gain other people's perspectives or thoughts. But when you talk about advice, like no one knows your relationship like you.
True.
You know, and they can only speak on their own experience, single or if they're in a relationship.
True.
And their experience ain't going to be your experience because you're not with the person they with. And they don't know the person you with. They don't, you know, it's anyone who's like, who's trying to give advice to me, like, nah. I can tell you what I think, but you gotta, you know, look at the situation and make the decision that's best for you. I think people who are looking for advice really just need someone to listen. They just need to vent, get some stuff out their chest, hear it out loud so that then maybe they can process it. Because a lot of times when you hear something out loud, it helps you to think about it in a different way.
True.
They don't need someone, oh, he did what? Oh, girl, you need to blah, 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 blah. Because usually that ain't leading you to nothing but singlehood.
True.
So
That's true.
you fast on your way to being single. The minute you start taking advice.
Naomi.
Because
really,
the dangerous thing is someone might give you something that works or that seemingly is helpful this time, and so you're thinking, oh, they give good advice. But the next situation their advice might not work, and you set yourself up. Like, no one person except God has the answers for everything.
True.
And if you ain't asked for his advice, you ain't got no business asking nobody else.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Naomi?
True that.
like, kudos for bringing up this subject, because I think this is a big area where we fall short in relationships, because so many people do go to others for advice, and not only that, so many people go to people to listen to them, you know, to vent, and they end up, the other person isn't listening, the other person is ready to give advice. So to those needing assistance or wanting something, I think what we're seeing on this call is show is very important. Talk it out. Talk. And that's why we do what we do as coaches, is because our job is not to tell you what to do. Our job is to listen to you, ask the appropriate questions. When you come up with what you want to do, we can then give you strategies and solutions to help you get there. But the decision needs to be yours, and I say that for both parties. Because the minute it doesn't turn out the way you thought it would turn out, you're going to go back to that person.
True.
And that person's going to look at you because they gave you the only thing that they knew, because like y'all said, that worked for them. It worked for them, and it's different people, it's different situations, and we don't always disclose everything when we're asking for advice.
True.
And I think that's what's key. We don't always disclose.
Well,
so before your friend, you start trying to give your friend advice, just listen to them, just let them get it out, and then just ask questions related to what they've asked you. And help them to figure it out for themselves. You may not even like the answer. When they come to you, you may already know what you want them to do. And this is not about what you want them to do. This is about them figuring out what they need to move forward.
Exactly.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you ever notice that the people who give the advice get so invested and involved that if you don't even take their advice, it's like you done talk bad about their mom or something.
My goodness.
Like,
yeah.
I thought I told you to, you gave me advice. I didn't want to do it. Well, why would you even ask? If you ain't going to do it, why would you ask me? You know what? Like,
first of all.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's true.
That's why you ain't what you ain't now. You know what? I don't need to hear that. Bye.
And honestly, that's why it's so wise
That's a very
to
good
really
question.
be careful of who you even go to asking advice. And even who you go to for a sounding board, because unfortunately you have folks in your life that are not your friends.
Bitter and miserable.
And
they want to see you bitter and miserable.
So you have to kind of be aware of that, and just this one is one that you got to be real careful, very, very careful, because I think a lot of relationships have had unnecessary problems because they brought people in, and you can't do that.
That have no right
The
to be
only
in
person
there.
that needs to be in there with you is God and God alone, because that's the only person that's going to help, truly. So, I mean, that's my thought on that. But in the interest of time, because we haven't even gotten to our topic for our panel discussion. So we had an advice letter that we were going to cover. So let's try to do that quick, and then we can go into our topic. So the advice letter went like this. Dear Lady P, I am in need of some advice. I have, in the past, seemed to attract men who aren't looking for love, but rather looking for help. As it is a new year, what can I do differently to avoid attracting such type of guys? Also, what are some warning signs or red flags I can look for to avoid getting too involved with someone like that? I have worked hard for what I have, and I don't think I should have to act less than I am, i.e. my job or my house, or my home rather, so as to watch out for fragile male egos or to avoid the F-boys that are looking for someone to take care of them. What advice would you give me as I dip my feet back into the dating pool in 2020? Signed, the only males I'm taking care of are my children. So, who wants to give this letter writer some advice first? Cousin?
Can you repeat the beginning?
Okay, so in the beginning, it says, I'm in need of some advice. I have in the past seemed to attract men who aren't looking for love, but rather looking for help. As it is a new year, what can I do differently to avoid
Okay, I got it. That's what I
attracting?
missed. That's what I missed.
Okay,
Right, that's what I missed.
okay.
Oh wow.
So, um, who would like to go first? Cousin, what would you tell this letter writer? You don't have anything for her?
No, I got. Like I said, you got to be careful because you got a lot of people out there, male and female, that they want someone to take care of them rather than for them to love that person and grow together. I've ran into a bunch of people like that, and they asked me this question, and I was like, man, you just got to learn to start the bad from the good and make sure they have the qualities that you are looking for and make sure that they want some of the same thing, if not all, that you want. But other than that, all you be doing is bouncing from one partner to the next, to the next, to the next, and you don't want that. Not in 2020.
Okay,
We're too old
wait
for that.
1 second. So you're saying that what she should do differently is sort the bad from the good, and what else? I'm sorry,
You got to make sure that they want other than a sugar mommy or a sugar daddy or something of the sort. Because if a person just met you and they're looking for somebody to help them up, they're going to immediately start crying about finance. Oh, I ain't got no money to pay my car note. I'm short on my rent. I don't have no groceries. Really? If you didn't meet me, what were you going to be doing?
so
You're going to figure stuff out.
those would be like red flags to say run the other way if you just meet someone.
Move on. Drop that person and keep it moving. You don't, in this day and age, you don't want to have to take care of nobody other than yourself and if you got underage kids. Even if your kids are grown men and women, tell them, hey, I took care of you, get a job, find out what the world is like. I'm not saying close the door on them, but you cannot, this is not the time to pick up excess baggage, unnecessary baggage. This is the time for you. I'm assuming that this person is our age group.
Our age, you are quite a bit older than me, so
there we go.
I'm just saying I'm not in your age group, cousin. So,
remind them, Lady P.
Cousin, every time I'm like, our age, we are not in the same age group. I'm just
Really?
I'm just saying, Cousin Howard, I'm just
Really?
You know I love you, cousin. You're my favorite cousin in all the world. Go ahead on. I didn't mean to interrupt your thought. Did you lose your thought? I'm sorry.
But I mean, no. You don't, this is not the time to carry nobody like that. And my advice, run away from that type of person. You don't need that in your life. See? Man or woman, you want somebody that is going to be there for you emotionally, financially, physically. You want someone that you can carry a conversation with. See? And I mean, if you're not getting that, if you're not feeling that, move on. See? My suggestion, learn to love yourself. And once you could love yourself, you could take your time and find Mr. Right or Miss Right and go from there. But don't be in a rush that you get blinded. She's saying everything correctly or he's saying everything correctly. And at the end of the day, they start begging you for money. See? They look at it like you making 6 figures and they barely making 20 grand. So they figure you should pay all the bills. No, life don't work like that. See? We will help each other get to the next level.
But the lady wasn't saying that she was stuck in a relationship with somebody who was doing that. She's saying what are the signs so she knows how to avoid dudes like that.
And how to avoid attracting them, because it's something that she's saying that's causing these types of people to, that she's attracting them. So she's asking, it's a new year. She wants to know what can she do different to avoid attracting them. Then she wants to look at red flags that you gave us. I didn't hear
Change the pool that you're looking in. Move to a different pool. If you're finding these guys in church, stop going to that church. Stop going to the same club. Because all you're going to do is run into the same type of people. See? And if it's your friends that are introducing you to these people, change those friends.
Cousin Howard's advice is stop going to church.
Go find you a new church, girl. Go get you that church over there.
So I would like to chime in.
Please,
I would like to chime in. So when I was going through my certification, part of the research that we had to do was around this, and I'll just tell you what was the result of it for that person. It was like they gave an example that you're a magnet and you attract things. So one of the things that I would say is look at what's on your magnet. What is drawing you? Because it's not just that they're picking you, you're picking them. If you're constantly finding yourself in a relationship with them, they're not just picking you, you're picking them. So there's something on your magnet, there's something on your radar that's saying, I want to help. I want to help you. I'm in a position to help you.
Okay.
So look at that and go back to that, and you do that by going back over your past relationships and reflecting. Did it start out that way?
We just lost your...
Did it start out that way, or did it turn out to be that way? And look at your patterns, because there's this thing called a merry-go-round, and you will find yourself on that merry-go-round, and you say, "Oh, wait a minute, I've been at the same spot before." And it could be something that happens when you're 3 months in. It could be something that happens after the second date. It could be something that happens after the 6th month. But just from what I've researched, is to go back and look at your patterns. That's where people have been successful. Look at your patterns, see what's on your magnet, see what you're attracting, and see what it is that you like about it. Because there's something in there somewhere that you like, and until a certain point, you stop getting the satisfaction from it. So look at that, and when you look at that, you can begin to remove those things. You can begin to see your own red flags. Instead of looking for their red flags, look at the flags that you're putting up that's saying, come to me, you're welcome here.
Okay. True that.
So actually having some time to do some self-reflection and journal maybe about what happened in the past. Look at what is similar. When did things start going south? If it was. And there's going to be a pattern when you do that. And if you
you do that, you'll find it.
Exactly. And if you do that and do the work, put the work in, and then when you set your standards, stick to them. Don't be like, well, I'm tired of being single. Look, enjoy it, because a relationship is work. So take the time. Don't rush. When you set your standards, keep them. Don't, well, I did say this, but no room for but. And when you see the red flags, you have, I think there was something I read, and it was saying that when you're looking at trying to find someone, you write down your list of must-haves and your deal breakers. Then you take the top 3 must-haves, see if that person has them, and if they have one of the deal breakers, that's it. It's not a compromise. Well, at least they don't do this. Then you're right back into the same cycle. Maybe not right away, but it's going to get there, so why go through all that? Jamian, anything you want to add?
No, I would just say, finding the right person for you is not there's no science behind it that I can think of. Largely, it's a numbers game. Some people find that right person right off. Some people, it takes them a little longer and they go through some of the wrong people. I think it's not, I don't know that it's always this thing that needs to be evaluated. It might just be you just haven't met them yet. And I'm not saying it's not to discount what Naomi says. Oh, I'm just saying, like, sometimes God hasn't put them in your path yet, and you just have to be patient. But I think as long as you are honest with what you can and can't deal with and what you want, then, you're going to meet some guys that don't fit the bill, that don't live up to the hype, that don't, fit the standards. Cut them and move on. Thank God that they were revealed to be as such, and keep it pushing.
True.
The right person.
I agree with that when it comes to finding the right person. When you're looking for the right person, I agree with exactly what you said, Jamie. But this was from the standpoint of how does she stop attracting the same type? And I really do think that when it comes to attracting the same type, you have to look at the patterns and you have to look at what you're allowing and what you're saying yes to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Look at yourself. And
what you were
if
saying.
you find that all you find is bad eggs in this pool, stop looking in this pool. Find you another pool. If you got to go 2-3 times over, find that other pool. So you need to go
to the next city and use their public pool? I'm just asking. I'm just trying to.
Who put eggs in a pool? Is that a Florida thing? Putting eggs in a pool? Like I ain't never heard.
Eggs in a pool.
I've never put eggs.
You might get a rotten egg out this pool, and then you might get a good egg out the other pool. You don't know.
You're right, because I would be just thrown off with the egg in the pool in the first place. I wouldn't even know.
Why the egg in there? Is it floating? Did it crack? What's going on?
Is it boiled? Is it fresh? What is it?
They trying to pickle it? What's going on?
Yeah.
But no, again, I'm just saying, like, I agree with everything everybody else has said. I'm just saying, in addition to all that, you have to realize that it might just be you haven't met him yet. Like, you don't know when God has for you to meet the person. And you meet him too early, you know what I'm saying? And y'all aren't going to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically right for each other at that moment. You meet him. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Lady P, we get it.
I'm just throwing it out there because that's a part of it. I'm just saying.
She's the only person got a dating app with a credit report application on the dating application.
Cousin. Really,
she's like, print this out and bring it to our first date.
I didn't say all of that. I'm just saying that is one of the biggest reasons that a marriage breaks up has to do with financial issues. So going into it, you need to be aware because that is a big issue. I mean, it really is. So I'm just saying, and I stick by what I say. But anyway, I think we have covered the letter. I hope that our letter writer felt that our advice was valuable. So now, what we actually came to talk about as a panel was we came to give dating tips in 2020. This is Valentine's Day week. I want to say Thursday, Wednesday, no, Friday. Okay,
Friday is Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. So we wanted to kind of give some tips. This is our special Valentine's Day episode. So we wanted to give some dating rules and tips and whatnot for 2020. So, may I start, please? And it's not about finances.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
But you know that's in there. But no, one of the tips I would say is not playing Bob the Builder, not finding a project, someone that you need to help make better. Not a good thing. And again, I could even say that kind of speaks to our letter writer because maybe she's someone always the type of personality she's looking for her next project, and that's why she ends up with, the folks that she ends up with. I think one that's a big, big one in dating is give the same energy that you're receiving. And I think we talked about that a while back. But if you're constantly the only one that's reaching out and the other one isn't, then you need to kind of make yourself not quite as available and, give the same energy that you're receiving. And for the women, don't wait on men to decide they want you. He need to figure out what he wants. Don't be like, well, he might want, check this out. I'm just saying. My advice, life is short. You don't, if you run across someone that doesn't know what they want, they're not the one for you, because we know that men are the pursuers. So if you run into one that says, well, I'm not sure. Okay, they don't want you. I'm just saying. Maybe they're trying to keep you on hold till they find who they want to pursue. But if they want you, they're going to pursue you. So, don't fall into that trap. I have some more, but I'm going to let y'all go too. So who wants to go next? Why y'all all looking at me like you crazy? What? What did I say that everybody looking at me cray-cray? Did I say something wrong?
What didn't you say that everybody looking at you cray-cray?
Okay, so what was it that stood out to you to make you look at me like, what? Tell me.
You know what? I don't want to break down and unbox all the issues you just put out there. Let's just suffice it to say those are your tips.
So
we love you. God bless you.
Oh, my Jesus.
Man, to carry all those bags. But I would just say, now are we talking about tips for Valentine's Day dating or just dating in general?
Just dating in 2020. We're in the early part of the year. Valentine's Day is coming up. So just some tips for dating in 2020. So.
I would say have a plan. Like, always have a plan, but be flexible. Because dating could, it could throw you some curveballs. You just gotta be flexible. Because if you taking her out, then she don't know what you got planned. So if something go wrong, don't let her know. Just be like, oh yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. That's why we going over here. I wasn't going there, girl. No. Excuse me, cancel my reservation. No, girl, we was going over here.
Oh, so like you pick a seafood restaurant and then you pick her up and you're talking and she's like, yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish. You're like, ooh, okay.
Exactly.
I
you gotta roll. You gotta
real quick.
With it.
Right. Okay. Got you.
It's like, oh, are we going to crustacean? No, I'm not going to crustacean. Girl, why would I take you to crustacean? You're allergic to shellfish. No, but, stuff like that. And also I would say this, women, you need to not rely on the dude so much in dating. Like, you could put just as much effort, just as much planning, just as much spice in there as a guy can. Now, granted, we know it's expected the man's gonna pay when y'all go out on a date. Yeah. We get it. Okay. But make him want to pay. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Make it to where it's not even an issue. You know what I mean? Like, put in the effort, like the time to not only look good, but compliment him. Take the time to actually listen to what he's saying to where you can do little things to let him know you was thinking about him or paying attention. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all are talking, he's like, oh yeah, my favorite color is blue. And you show up in a blue dress, he's like, ooh, you look so nice. She's like, yeah, I don't know, I just felt like blue for some reason. He gonna get it, trust me. It's gonna hit him. He gonna be like, dang, this girl, she be on it. See what I'm saying? All those little things add up to a lot. And when you're dating, it's a competition. It's a competition on both sides, but it's still a competition. And nobody likes to lose.
Explain the competition a little more. Explain what you mean by competition.
If you're dating, that means you're not exclusive, right? Which means if somebody better comes along.
Okay.
Sorry for you. So, do you want to win, or do you want to go home? those are just a couple quick tips. I got others, but you got to pay for the rest.
Okay. Naomi, I think I'm gonna get you for a cousin because he looked like he. Go ahead, Naomi. We'll catch cousin last.
Just to add to what both of you have said, I would definitely say have fun. Sometimes we get so serious and so caught up with our list and everything and looking for every word and looking to see if he or she is doing the same thing that our last person did and looking them up on social media and all of that we just forget to go and have fun. So I would say have fun, and to the man and to the woman, laugh. It's okay to laugh, and that's what's missing out of so many relationships. It's having that fun and laughing, and not to the point where it becomes, where it gets on your nerve, but just allow yourself to have some fun. I would say that. The second thing that I would say is never to the extreme, but allow yourself to get out your comfort zone. So if they're taking you somewhere, if you're accustomed to going to the movies and they want to go and maybe see a French movie with subtitles, go do it. Go do it for the experience. Put yourself out of the comfort zone. You may never want to do it again, but in the process, neither one of y'all may like subtitles, and it'd be something for you to talk about later. So just get out of your comfort zone a little bit and have fun. Those are my tips for 2020, because last year it was so serious. Everything was so serious when it came to dating.
Cousin Howard.
I'm with all of y'all.
And Jesus, really?
You with all of us? But hold on.
Did he just give me that?
As far as Naomi was saying, because a lot of people out there, men and women, like Naomi said, they look for, my last boyfriend or my last girlfriend acted like this on the third date, and this is only the first date, and you're acting like that, and they kick you to the curb. Get out your comfort zone. Get to know people a little better. Before you say yes to a date, have a few phone conversations, video chat, catch that person, I wouldn't say with their guard down, so to speak, but just call them up and throw different scenarios at them. See how they respond before you agree to go sit in a restaurant. And let's say this person eats with his fingers and licking their fingers, and you're in a 5-star restaurant. And that goes like somebody like me. I like the finer things in life. So I'm not going to go take a woman to Dennis.
Why they laughing at you, Cousin Howard?
Because they're stupid.
Why they laughing? Both of them about to date both of them. They are laughing at you.
Why you trying to call somebody?
I was laughing because Naomi was laughing. We know you.
Yeah, Naomi trying to cover up the fact that she was laughing.
Y'all could laugh all y'all want. But
Naomi was laughing too.
Why you all defensive, cousin?
No, I don't care. I don't care. Y'all want to laugh? Go ahead.
Cousin Howard, I like conch soup and fine china too.
But you know how embarrassing it is. You meet a fine woman and you like.
Well, I wouldn't really meet a fine woman, but go ahead on what? I'm sorry.
I don't know about that, Cousin Howard.
I hope y'all never meet a fine woman. I hope they meet a fine woman.
Oh,
but you meet you meet a fine male. I'm not one to meet no male. But for you two, y'all meet a fine male, and this fool get up in Benihana's and eating with his fingers, refuse to pick up a knife and fork, refuse to cut his
But he took me there, and he's paying for the date, right? So he can do whatever he wants in Benihana's. I'm just saying.
Come again?
You understand where I'm at?
I didn't hear you. I did not hear you.
but he's in Benihana. You know
And he has a good
he may
credit
be
score.
Right.
but he's doing it in Benihana. His Experian credit application came back positive. So he can lick his fingers in Benihana all he wants. Now he can't lick his fingers at Benny. But if he at Benihana, he can lick his toes if he wants to, as long as they're at Benihana.
Oh my Jesus.
He could take his feet off and put them on the counter as long as they're at Benihana. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying.
He could sit down in his drum and try and go back and help the cook make the food. She wouldn't care because she had Benihana.
Oh, okay.
Okay, first of all, Jamie, and it wasn't all of that. I was just saying that, it's a little bit different because, cousin, if you say you take a woman to a nice restaurant and she's, eating with her hands, as opposed to a man taking me to a nice restaurant. If he's taking me and he want to eat with his hands, he the one took me, so that's on him.
Really?
I'm saying he paid
Really?
for it, yeah. He took me, I didn't take him. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Lady P. Lady P.
Hey, I'm playing. Yes, cousin. Yes, cousin.
And then you all go eat that crap that she just said.
I said I was playing, but
What?
anyway.
You're not playing.
Let me rein it back in. So, cousin,
Too late.
some other things would be, in giving some tips in dating is not to let loneliness guard your dating choices. So just because you're lonely and somebody asks you out and good and blasted well that it's not, just stay home and I'm just saying, just don't do it. I would say, because what I've noticed recently is that everyone is into this texting, text pal. And that's, they'll text you before they pick up a phone and have a conversation. I happen to have the gift of gab, and I prefer to have a conversation rather than I could text myself too, but I just prefer, and it's preferable because the thing that's really funny is that I can use myself as an example. There was a young man, and we were having like a text conversation, and it seemed funny that we were getting along, and then we had a phone conversation, and I was like, no. So really, it can go both ways where you misconstrue something in text, or you actually seem like you have a rapport via text, and when you actually have a phone conversation, it's like you have nothing to talk about. And so texting is really not the best way. And cousin, this is just speaking to your thing where you had advised the girl not to, what was it you said? Go to a different church. One of the things I found in an article was, it says, don't go looking for a man in church. Now, the reason, listen to the reason why the article said it. It said that the church is full of wonderful people, but we need to recognize that a lot of people who go to church are going because they're broken. They're going to build their relationship with God. So you may end up in a situation where you're looking for, your next person in church, and they're working through some things, and you may end up with someone that's in the beginning part of their brokenness. So that's really not the be-all, end-all. It has to be, in the church that I meet someone. So when I read that, I was like, it really makes sense, because a lot of people are there for rebuild. There's some that are there and they are close to where they need to be as far as their relationship with God, but there's some that are there that are just beginning their Christian walk. So depending on where you are, that could be an issue. I'm just saying. You don't agree?
That's a complete and total. That's complete and total judgmental BS.
No, I'm
sorry.
saying it was an article that I saw. It said
to say don't look for a man at church because the majority of men at church are broken and that's why they're there. That is the most ridiculous thing
that's not
ever
what the article, Jamie, and
that's what
not,
you did.
No, but I'm saying that's not what the article said. No, the article said that there are a lot of people in church who are trying to get themselves together. So if you say
Please.
that the only person that I'm ever going to try to get into a relationship with, I'm going to the church to meet him, that may not be the place. That's what the article is saying, because there are a lot of people that will say, oh, you should only go to church to meet someone because that's where you're going to find spiritual people and so forth and so on. And there are spiritual people, but there are also people that are trying to get themselves together. So to say that,
okay, you know people trying to get themselves
I'm
together
just telling you what
at a mensa meeting.
what?
You find people trying to get themselves together at a Mensa meeting. You can walk down the street and hit about 20 people that life ain't together for.
And
you can't say don't find a person at church, because a lot. Now, when they say a lot, let's be honest.
It says don't only go looking there.
I'm just saying, like, call a spade a spade. Don't be trying to mince words like, oh, I didn't say the majority, I said a lot.
Telling you
well, you know what people read at, what you're inferring. I'm intelligent enough to read between lines. I can hear what they're saying. And they're saying, oh, well, if you go to church, you have a good chance of getting someone who's broken. So it's probably not the best place to go look for someone. And I'm just saying, look, I'm not saying everybody should go to church and look for someone. But that's some BS. I'm just saying that statement right there was complete. That right, I put my foot up my.
I look at that because the last thing it said is church is a community, and you shouldn't go to the bathroom where you eat. And what happens if it doesn't work out? I would say it's the same as at your workplace. Because what happened if I wouldn't encourage that either, because you meet somebody on the job and then it's all good. Then when y'all break up, you got to see the person every day. I mean, I'm just saying. It's really generally not.
You know what I'm saying? If you're worried about what's going to happen when you break up before you get with the person, then you don't need to get with anybody.
Jesus, I'm just saying. Now,
I'm just saying, if you're already worried about what's going to happen when it's over, then why are you even dating? Like, what's the point?
You think that's like, I got a friend of mine that he would always say, man, that's my next ex-wife. He ain't met her yet, but he's already classifying her as his next ex-wife. You can't do that.
That wasn't what I was saying. I'm reading the article, but what? No. I was reading the article, but I was saying when I read it that you have to be realistic, and there's certain places that I wouldn't recommend for myself. I can't say for anyone else. There's a lot of people who met on the job. They went on to be married happily for a long time. That's true. However, sometimes things don't work out. And if it is at your place of employment, if it is your place where you go worship, then what happens is then one person has to go somewhere else because they don't want to see. I mean, I'm just saying that I agree.
And all I'm saying is, if I'm getting in a relationship and I'm thinking about, well, if we break up, this is going to be awkward, then dude, why are you even trying to date? Because anybody you get with you are breaking up with. Like, what's the point? Unless you're just trying to get something to knock off or something. But if you're trying to find that rest of your life type thing, you can't do it looking at every situation like, well, what happens if this don't work? Because anybody who is ever thinking realistically never accomplished anything anyone else hadn't done before them. So you want something different, you gotta do something different.
That's what you're saying?
I'm saying, why worried about what's going to happen when it doesn't work out? Why not worry about what happens when it does work out? How about that? How about, like Naomi said, just enjoy it and not judge the situation that hasn't even happened yet?
May never happen.
Naomi, did you have anything
further? To me, words are powerful. When you set yourself up with that kind of mentality,
I hear that, and I'm like them. That irritates me and upsets me, because to say that you have a pool of broken people in the church, well, I can walk down the street and pass 10 broken people, but if you're in a church environment, you're trying to do something about it. Versus that person on the street that just says, you know what, this is just me. I'm a broke person. I'm going to be a broke person. And if you want me, this is what you got. So I get that. I get that part, but the church is also full of whole people. It's also full of restored people. It's also full of people who say, you know what, I'm going to start over, but I'm going to start over with grace this time. So it's a matter of choice. And what are you looking for? It's full of strong people. People that were weak and have made the decision to be strong. So if you don't want any of that, you can go to the neighborhood bar. You can go to the, you can hang out on the street. You can pick them up anywhere.
You go to the credit bureau.
Oh my Jesus, Jamie.
The other line, the other line.
Okay, so if so, all I would say is that maybe at a visiting church, not your home church. I'm just saying, and that's just my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion, so I'm just saying. And my last thought on it was for women not to chase men in 2020. So if he's
Hold up.
I'm giving my tips for dating in 2020. Hold up, what? What?
Nobody got to chase nobody. Jesus. If you like somebody, tell them. Life is too short for you to see a guy that you
Don't
like.
be trying to argue with me. Let me get my point across from the
article. I want you to define chase.
Thank you.
So
yes. The article said.
The article.
Well, I had an article to use for my part of the discussion in preparation, cousin. So anyway, the article said to not chase men in 2020. It says, if he isn't calling you back, pushing the ball forward like you are, you need to stop. There is the
that
pain
don't
of
just go for women to chase men.
Oh my gosh!
That's for men not to chase women either. Because if you can't pick up the phone and call me and say, hi, how you doing today? How was your day? Why should me, the man, be the only one calling you?
Can I finish what the article said for you got to jump in with what you had to say? Because you ain't had nothing to say till I started talking about the article. I'm just saying. So anyway, the article says if you're the one that's putting in all the effort and you're not getting any effort back, you need to stop. Because what happens is, and this is to women that I'm giving this advice, that you don't want to be the pursuer because it eats at your self-esteem. So if they chase you, you need to chase them back. You need to have the same energy there. But as the woman, because I think, and the reason the article is saying this is because there has been a lot of that. Because, you hear the ratios, there are X amount of women to men. So you have women that are lowering their standards because they're lonely. They don't want to be alone. They have this guy come up and maybe he's got all these options. So she's trying to chase. No. So what the article says is you stop being the one that's doing all the pursuing. If he wants something, he's going to pursue. It's in a man's DNA. I'm just saying. And that's what the article said. Did you have anything else you needed to share about that point in the article, cousin?
Yes, I do. You can't expect the man supposed to do all the chasing. Like you said, the energy should be equal. It's not a competition of who calls who and when.
Isn't that what I said, though?
Yeah, but you saying this is for women only. You got women that sit there and play hard to get. A brother call them up, and they're like, oh, I'm fine.
That sounds personal.
They're on the phone for 5-10 minutes, and all they got is one-word answer. They don't want to say
but
nothing
because they don't
want to. That's your fault
staying on the phone that long. I'm just saying.
With me, if I get on the phone and you got one-word answer after 30 seconds, it's bye.
Why you
I ain't got time for that.
you taking this a little
I ain't taking it personally, no way, no how.
Why,
I'm just
why
telling
are you
you,
raising your voice,
stop
cousin?
addressing that article towards just women. If a woman wants a man the same
That's
way
what
if a
the
man
article
wants a
is,
woman,
cousin.
then that article is biased. That must have been written by a woman that was hurt. But you gotta understand, in 2020, the same way you want a man to chase you, you gotta chase that man. You gotta go after what you want. Life is short. None of us know if we're gonna wake up in the morning. See? You don't want to drop dead tomorrow thinking, man, I never told Joe Blow I loved him. See? Because I was waiting for him to say it first.
I'm just saying.
Am I the only one who's loving his impressions of the people on the phone?
I ain't got time for you, David. But I'm being real.
Hello? Hello?
So, I want to add to that because there's some things that I think that and you didn't read the entire article,
Right.
but that the article doesn't address, especially when they talk about women in 2020. One of the things that is going on that is evident is this woman empowerment movement that basically says, I can chase a man. That says, if I want a man, I can get this man. That says, and it's evident. And that's why that attributes to why there's been an increase. Okay. You have those A-type personalities that say, you know what, I want them, and I'm going after them until I get them. If I have to call them 20 times, I'm going to call them 20 times because I get what I want. The tables are kind of turning, and they are those personalities out there, and they are rising, and it is showing up in the dating world. So I think while the article talks about that, it needs to really, there's just more to it. There's more to it in terms because these A-types are coming up and these women who have kept silent for so long are quote unquote finding their voice and they're letting you know, yeah, you're the one I want. I'm tired of sitting up waiting. I'm going to come out. I'm going to come to you. So I think it should do justice by doing both sides. Because there is a rise, and that is part of what attributes to it. And the statistics are out there that shows that. Like it or not. Like it or not.
Wait, what?
Jamie.
All I'm saying is maybe there are those types that are... You know, I'm going for what I want. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not. I'm old school, and I'm not going to run behind nobody. I'm not chasing nobody. It is what it is. I mean, it's just me. And
I'm with you, Lady P. I am with you on that. I am so with you on that. Yeah. I agree with you on that. But I can't be blindsided to the fact of what's going on. You know, what's going on and the change that's taking place in dating. I just can't be blind to it. I sit up, I go to these women's summits, I listen to these women panels, they bring up dating, some of them like the old fashioned, yes, but others are going like, you know what? It's woman empowerment time.
Well, I mean, to each his own, but
yeah.
But you gotta be open to everything. You can't.
I'm not running behind nobody. I don't care. I'm not open to that.
These one-sided articles.
It's not about.
It's telling women sit back and let the man chase you.
Okay,
if you want something,
I'm sorry. Wait, hold up, cousin. If you saw somebody that you wanted, are you telling me that you would want her to pursue you so that it would stroke your ego?
No, I don't want nobody to stroke my ego. But if she wants me, stop and say hi. How you doing? What's your name?
Okay, that's not chasing you, saying hi, how you doing. Chasing you is the one doing the pursuing, taking over your role where if it's somebody that you
There's
want,
nobody taking over nobody's role, honey. Nobody taking over
so okay,
nobody's
so the
role.
thought that
The
the,
same. Hold on. Let me
well, I was
let me
talking
say something.
first. Hold up. Now, how about that? So we're gonna bring it back to the Bible. The Bible says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." It don't say you run him down and run him over and then say, "Here I am," right? So, in line with that, I guess that's old school, right? But what I've always learned is that if a man wants something, he's going to pursue it. So you're telling me, what if it's somebody you don't want? What if they look, well, it don't matter. What if they're just somebody you don't want, but they decided that they
Then
want
you
you
tell them.
and they're pursuing you? How would you feel if it was someone that there's zero attraction, not even physically, but you can't even have a conversation, but they want you. So you come out your house, they sitting on your porch. I'm just saying. So
Tell them. If somebody is chasing me that is not my forte, I'm like, look, honey, you are not for me. All right, we could be friends from a distance.
You would say that? You'd be honest
Hell
and
yeah.
straight up and say,
So what would
Yeah.
she say, Cousin Mom? What would she say?
Whatever she says is her problem because it's not.
I wanted you to do another impression.
and I said this, and
what?
she said what?
No, because there's women out there that will not find every single guy that says hi attractive, just like there's guys out there that won't find every single woman attractive. You can't fault nobody for that.
Okay.
See? If a person want to be your friend, then settle for that. I'll be your friend from over there.
I got enough
See?
friends. I'm just saying.
We all do. We all do.
So I don't need a new
See?
friend if it's someone that.
But
I'm just saying.
when you tell a person, I'll be your friend from over there, that should tell him, yo, he's not interested.
There's some
Or
people
she's
don't get
not
that.
interested.
So some
Then
people.
that's their problem.
Oh, it's their
See?
problem now. Okay.
Some people you got to get real insulted and tell them exactly where
But
to
why
get
you
off.
gotta go through all that? You set
Because,
your
so,
standards.
like
If
you
they're
said-
not in your standards, that's the end of it. There's no reason for any discussion, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly. But you cannot tell women, oh, don't chase nobody because
yes,
that's
I
not
can.
ladylike. This is 2020. You know how many women I run into on a daily basis
Well,
doing what I do.
They all want you.
No.
I'm sorry. What is it that happened with her cousin?
No, but I listen to them and they're like, I'm driving and I'm listening to women talk. Last weekend at Super Bowl, I listened to a lot of these college kids from UM talk about, oh, so-and-so was telling me how fine I was. I should have gave it up. And I'm like thinking to myself, what is wrong with you, man? Then you all go back and talk about how you wanted was some. Because you made it freely accessible. What you think
Wait,
about?
how did we get to,
I know
to
that's
being a
Yeah, how you get privy to that?
How we got there?
How you get privy to that kind of conversation, cousin?
He drives
Uber.
Uber.
Oh,
he
okay,
did all
okay,
kinds of
okay.
things.
And
All right.
they sit in the back
They
of my
sit there
truck
chattering. Okay.
and they spill their gut.
Yes, they do. Okay.
It ticks me off when a fine-looking woman get in the back of my truck with her friend or get on the phone with whosoever and talk about Joe Blow or John Doe.
Why?
And girl,
It's not
he
your
was
business.
fine and he was looking. Then why say it in front of me?
Because you just
What
a
am I
driver,
supposed
you're
to
not
do?
anybody to
Talk
them,
my
so
ears
why
up?
not? I'm just saying, you're somebody that they're not
You'd
going to
be
see again. They don't
surprised.
care.
You'd be surprised some of the conversation that goes on in my truck.
No, yeah, I bet. I can
surprised.
believe it.
But,
And it bugs me because then I listen to Lady P and that whatever article she got there, and Obviously, whatever woman that person was talking to is not some of these women that are catching Uber.
Probably not. They probably got their own car. I'm just saying.
You know,
Just saying.
and I meet guys that go out on blind dates, and they would call for an Uber, and they jump in my truck and they ranting and raging how selfish that woman was. See? All I could do is laugh because to me it's funny as hell. See? You have people in this world today that don't think like that article is saying. See? And you cannot bring an article into the world and just interview argument's sake 5 people and put that in like that is law. You can't do that. See? And a lot of people gonna end up in the long run old and lonely because they take that article and like, girl, I ain't chasing him because so and so wrote that he's supposed to chase me. Really? Really? Ain't nobody supposed to chase nobody. If you like somebody, let them know. If it works out, I'm happy for you. If it don't, you save yourself a lifetime of heartache.
Okay.
But nobody got nothing to say?
I think you done said a whole bunch and then some. I'm just saying. Thank you, though. Anyone else have any? What, Naomi? Is it me? What you shaking your head at me or cousin?
Both.
That comes from knowing each other our whole lives.
Yes.
You can tell we know each other out well, really all my life.
Exactly.
But I'm saying you can tell that we are close relatives.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful.
So, anyone else have any tips that they'd like to share with our audience before we wrap it up? Oh, cousin, what you doing? Why you not even looking at us? What you doing? What's over there in the corner?
I'm looking at y'all.
No, you was looking over to the side. I saw you. Mm-hmm. You need to pay
I don't have to be
you need to
looking
pay
at you to look
attention
at you.
to what we're discussing now. When we finish, you can go do what you're doing and whatever you're looking at in the corner. Mm-hmm. So anyway, because I was wondering why you didn't come over here to do the show. I was just curious because it's not like I live that far from you, but it's okay. Anyway, anyone else have any? That's why we woke you up. Anyone else have any further thoughts before we finish the show? No, cousin, you have nothing to say. Okay.
I'm going to let you all go ahead with it.
Jamie, do you have any further dating tips for 2020?
Nope. I think we said it all. Things said more than most. And yeah. So there you go.
Naomi?
Nothing other than, this is 2020. It's a new decade, and there's just so many different ways to date, be it in person, be it virtually, dating apps. Just, for some, stick to, if you're a traditional person, just understand that the traditional options are still out there for you. And if you want to stay traditional, I think that you should enjoy doing that, to not feel pressured to go other ways if staying traditional is what you like. And on the other side, if traditional hasn't worked for you and you want to get non-traditional, I think that you have a right to do that too. And that the show just gave you some different options, some different tips, and some things that have been revealed through research.
Right. So, my thought is, it's a new year. Definitely have fun. Set your standards. Keep your standards. Look out for the red flags and take it one day at a time. We are not promised tomorrow. We're not promised next year. We're not promised the next decade. But while we're here, Enjoy it. Enjoy the process. It's a process.
Enjoy.
And that's it. Anything further, cousin?
No, I'm with y'all on that, you know.
Okay.
Weigh the pros and the cons
Right.
and go after what you want. I'm not telling you to let nobody get loose with you or none of that mess, but if you like somebody and you and that person get to have a conversation, or you could even start up a conversation, and, you know, because you could tell whether 5 minutes into that conversation if it's worth having a second one, or if you need to cut the first one short and forget about it. But don't hold up your feelings and spend the rest of your life lonely because you keep running into the wrong type. You know, if you run into the wrong type, change your venue. If you go, like Damien said, he likes my analogies, but if you go into a reggae spot and you're meeting nothing but bums, then forget the reggae spot. Go to the soca spot. Go to the hip hop. Go to the R&B. See? Go to church. Go somewhere else. But that pool that you're in is not working for you. So get out.
Okay. So, unfortunately, I had missed some comments that happened along the way. I don't know. I thought I had the live stream open. But there was something where Cousin Ben kept telling me to leave the man alone. I don't know who he was talking about, which one of y'all. Probably Cousin Howard. So he also said sex wasn't everything, just 90% of it. And Nan agreed with Jamie, and as long as the other person contributes as much or close to, so that had to be when we're talking about finances. So I'm sorry I missed it all, guys. Thank you for your comments, and I'll do better next time. I'll make sure I have it open so I can see the comments as they come. In the meantime, between time, I had a ball. I don't know if everyone did, everyone listening. Hopefully we were able to share something helpful. And it was good because we're 4 different people, 4 different opinions. Whether it's 2 male, 2 female, we still have our differences, and that's just how people are. And we're sharing that with you. And we hope that something that you heard, regardless of who you heard it from, whose opinion or whose thought it was, is helpful to you going into 2020. Have a fabulous year. Enjoy yourself. Have fun dating. And that's about it. So I'll sign out now. I'll say goodbye. Bye, Jamian. Bye, Naomi.
Bye, Naomi.
You guys have a great one, and we will get together in another week or so. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.
Love y'all.
96.2, the smooth road. Grown Folks Radio with Lady P.
All right.
The broadcast of Facebook Live has stopped.